So sugar daddies, how many sugar daddies have you had?
I've been, honestly, it's like a lifestyle thing. Like I had my first sugar daddy at like 18 years old, and then I've kind of like sporadically on and off since then. Like obviously not during relationships.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And I've had some, and honestly, my 8-year-long relationship, like part of the spice on this relationship is he was 21 years older than me and taking care of me.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, that was it's kind of started out like that, and then it kind of just like, oh, we're staying together and we're bonding more, right? Or whatever you want to call it, right? But it kind of, my 8-year-long relationship should have just been a sugar daddy.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Would that be considered a sugar daddy if he was your actual like partner?
That's kind of why I don't consider him
Yeah,
a
I
sugar
don't think
daddy,
so.
because it was like, it's not like, hey, if I don't get money today for hanging out with you, it's
Yeah,
okay.
because I feel
Yeah,
like
I've
it's
never
more.
been like that
It
about
wasn't
it either.
transactional.
Yeah.
It started that way though.
Yeah.
It started, so this is how it happened. So like, he bought me a designer purse like the day after he met me, which was like a super grooming move, but I was young and didn't know that it was a
God.
grooming move, right? And I was like, oh my God, I've never had a guy buy me a designer handbag before. And then
Wait,
like,
why is that grooming?
Yeah.
Because
no,
it's like
because
love
the way
bombing.
he did it was just kind of like, hey, I'm about to abuse the fuck out of you for the next like 8 years.
He was very
But
abusive.
you're gonna remember this moment as something that you want to happen again.
Wait,
But
so,
did
you know what I
Wait,
mean?
wait, hold on. You dated this man for 8 years. How
Yeah.
early into the relationship did you detect that he was abusive?
I detected, and we had this
Or not
really,
detected, he was
we
abusive.
had this crazy fight that I was like, this was disproportionate to the situation 2 weeks in. But again, I also, my parents aren't abusive to each other. So for me, it was really kind of like, oh my God, I've never seen someone yell at someone like that before. And then in my
How would
mind,
he
because
yell? Can you-
he
Oh,
would
it was
like,
he yelled
you're
at
a
me
fucking
once.
idiot.
Yeah.
You're literally gonna end up fucking on the streets if you don't fucking learn how to fucking deal with this, you stupid bitch. Like that kind of shit.
Oh my God.
He once
You're
came
good
after
at-
me.
you should be
I've
an
heard it
actor.
for 8 years, so I'm very good. And he has a bird
Gosh.
squawking voice. So he's a bird girls. Like,
Oh my God,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
man.
No.
You heard it too.
oh my God,
was
this man
with-
reigned
I was
terror in
with
like,
you know
all of
this
our
man.
lives.
All of
Yeah,
that.
You were
we,
with her.
We
And let
hate
me
this
tell
man.
you, I swear,
has
if that
yelled
man
at
you.
doesn't come out as
Full
gay,
on.
I don't know what.
Yeah, like that's
Oh my
like
God.
it's like you're either
Man is gay.
asexual or there's something weird
Yeah.
because you just like abusing people, and he probably
What the
gets off more on stealing money from old ladies than he
What
does
the
from actually having
fuck?
sex.
He's
Yeah.
very flamboyant.
Yeah, he's insanity. You've never met anybody. Most people haven't met people like this. But yeah,
Wait,
so,
so 2 weeks in is when he
2
started?
weeks in, and then I remembered having this critical moment in my head where it's like, that wasn't right. That was weird. And then I talked to him thinking, okay, well, we should communicate about this, right? And I was like, hey, do you realize that like this, what you said was like completely disproportionate to this? It's too long to describe the story, but it was
yeah.
completely disproportionate.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, well, if you hadn't like basically like left the house like this at this time, then it wouldn't have turned into a fight. And I honestly just believed him because I'd never been yelled at. And I was like, wow, the only way that someone would hate me that much to talk to me like that must be if I'm that bad.
He was very abusive.
Yeah, and I didn't grow up with like a narcissistic family, so I didn't like recognize the signs. You know what I mean? Like I was like, wow, I need this guy. Like he's helping me. Like it's really fucked up what people do.
And then
Yeah.
you stayed with him for 8 years.
I wanted to leave after 3, but he completely financially enmeshed himself in my life and made it extremely hard to leave. So even though we weren't married, breaking up required a divorce, and that was part of the plan.
Financial divorce.
Yeah, that was part of the plan, and this is something that doesn't get talked about. I'm actually like writing a book about this, but like this is something that happens. This unspoken financial abuse that becomes a way of kind of like
How so?
people will just, trap you with debt. They'll trap you with assets. They'll if you try to break up with people, they'll follow into the court system to try to create new ways to get in contact with you when they've exhausted all of the normal ones. You know what I mean? And this is actually something that the court system's aware of too.
Yeah.
The court
Oh,
system's
yeah, the
super
court
aware of
system's
it.
crap.
Yeah, so it's just not getting talked about a
don't
lot
do
because
anything
it's a
for
very
us.
ambiguous thing, right?
So, but
yeah.
wasn't he, you said he was like 20 years your senior. Was he successful? Did he make good money?
He was an investment banker, so it's one of those things where it's like when they get money, they get a lot of money, but they can also lose it like that, and they live very chaotic lives. So you could literally have $10 million one day and $0 the next day. Like, so it's kind of like a false sense. It's
you-
money but not wealth.
Well,
Yeah.
You mentioned, so did you have debts? to
Yeah,
him?
so that was a thing
Or-
that he did. So he gave me the story of like, hey, I'm gonna get you a credit card and I'm gonna pay it every month, right? And we're gonna build your credit. Sounds great, right? And so we do that, and he's paying, everything's going according to plan. And then one day we have a fight, and it's like, okay, well, you can go pay that on your own then. And it's like, well, you've been racking up a bill on this too, right? Because it wasn't just me being like, yay, I'm going shopping. It was like, this card is like groceries, gas, like it's our life card, right? And so I was sold the story like, I'm going to build your credit, everything's going to be fine, da da da. And then the day that they need that to be a tool for them, then they're like, you know what? Maybe you should just go pay this $50,000 of debt that I racked up that I assured you would be. You know what I mean? And it's like not all your own
Wait,
debt.
he wasn't paying the statement balance?
No, he did. So he would wait until the very last moment to do before it affected my credit report to pay it. But then like within days back up before I could make a decision to like run. You know what I mean? And so he kept me in this kind of confused state of like being fearful of my financial situation legitimately, right? You know what I mean? And then also trying to myself feel like I had to make a shit ton of money to cover his antics, and then being like, how do I leave? Because if I leave, basically I have to leave with $100,000 worth of debt. And by the way, I eventually had to make that choice and did leave with $100,000 worth of debt because I
Wow.
would never stop unless I fucking just
Yeah.
left, right?
Yeah.
But then you realize, wow, I could have done this 3 years earlier if I was going to get fucked the entire time.
Wait, so
Yeah.
were you both using this particular credit card?
Yes, but it wasn't he wasn't supposed to be being used the way it was, right? Like I was being told, okay, this is for like stuff that we actually like is like necessary, and then I go in the cart and it's like and he was like buying, it wasn't even just shopping, it was like bad decisions he was making on behalf of the business that we started together. It was just like so much shit, but at the end of the day, I was holding the bag with his credit card. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it, yeah.
But okay, so I have a question. How old were you again? You were when you
I
started the
was
relationship?
like 19.
But okay,
Yeah.
and you said you have your family was
My mom
normal?
and dad
Yeah.
actually, so my mom and dad, when I met him, did a very overbearing parent thing, and they like ran a background check on him and got a private investigator and basically presented the paperwork and were like, this guy's really fucking bad.
Wait, how early on did that occur?
Like I want like a couple weeks, a couple months.
Wait, what did the background check
Yeah.
uncover?
What?
What did it not? Because they said he's
That
really
he
bad.
just seemed to be shady. He seemed to be a ghost on paper, and that he didn't seem to have a stable job. There were just a lot of things that were like, this is an elusive individual who doesn't seem to come from anywhere. And
But you
like,
continue dating him.
because I was super young, and in my mind I'm like, well, maybe he's just like some like amazing rich guy, and my dad and mom aren't rich like he seems to be, which by the way, he wasn't actually as rich as he seemed to be, but I was too young to even know what people do like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're when you're 19, you have no idea how fucking money works.
Think
unless
of the
it-
Tinder swindler, basically.
yeah, he's like the Tinder swindler, but he did sell me the first 2 years like really top shelf life, right? Like it
Like,
was like
what was he
spoiling
doing?
the shit out of me.
Oh, he spoiled the shit.
Because
Yeah,
Spoiled
spoiled the
shit out of you.
absolute shit out of me to make me like kind of be like, hey, I know I'm abusing you and you're crying every day and I like don't let you see your parents, but like
Jesus
you're okay.
Christ.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like
So-
and I tell you lines to tell your parents about how we're doing when you go see them, so you don't talk about it on your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So-
like yeah.